Hello everyone, welcome to the Rini's channel. Today we will discuss about intestinal obstruction. What does intestinal obstruction means? It is a blockage to the normal passage of intestinal contents. Obstruction may be acute or chronic in origin. Acute obstruction usually occur in small bowel with sudden onset of central abdominal pain, distension, early vomiting and constipation. Chronic mainly occurs in large bowel obstruction with lower abdominal colic and absolute constipation followed by distension. So acute refers to small bowel obstruction with central abdominal pain and chronic refers to large bowel obstruction with lower abdominal colic pain. Obstruction may be of two types, either mechanical, that is called dynamic, or functional, that is called adynamic. Now what happens in mechanical obstruction? There is a physical obstruction of bowel associated with increased peristalsis in order to overcome blockage. For example, adhesions volvulus present outside the small bowel, malignancy stricture present inside the small bowel, and hard feces inside the lumen of small bowel may be the cause of mechanical obstruction. While in case of functional or adynamic obstruction, there is loss of muscles of intestinal wall, which means there is no peristalsis. For example, in case of paralytic ileus and pseudo obstruction. Now we have divided the changes into three segments relative to the site of obstruction: proximal to the site of obstruction, at the site of obstruction, and distal to site of obstruction. At first, peristalsis increases proximally to the site of obstruction, and if this obstruction is not relieved, peristalsis then ceases, gut paralyzed and dilated. This distension proximal to the intestinal obstruction is produced by two factors: either gas accumulation or increased intraluminal pressure. Gas accumulation results from swallowed air and from bacterial fermentation. Why intraluminal pressure has increased at this site? Because normally small intestine receives 8 liters of fluid daily. This fluid comes from either saliva, stomach, duodenum, pancreas and liver. Majority of this fluid is absorbed in the small intestine, but during intestinal obstruction, intraluminal pressure is increased, leading to venous and lymphatic congestion, and this fluid accumulates within the lumen of intestine. Due to this fluid accumulation, intraluminal pressure is increased. This leads to dehydration and electrolytes loss. Now, due to impaired venous return, congestion and edema of the bowel wall occurs. Arterial occlusion leads to blackish discoloration, loss of peristalsis, gangrene, perforation, and thus peritonitis. Now, what are the changes distal to the obstruction? The gut exhibits normal peristalsis, fluid is absorbed, and it becomes empty. Diagnosis is clinical in majority of cases. Digital rectal examination should never be missed. Complete blood count, LFTs, serum electrolytes, urea creatinine levels, amylase levels, glucose levels, these baseline investigations should also be done. In radiological findings, we can perform X-ray abdomen supine posture. Dilated bowel loops can be seen in case of intestinal obstruction. Dilated loops of ileum are located centrally and are described as characterless. The dilated loops of jejunum are characterized by presence of valvulic conniventes, which pass across the width of bowel and are spaced at regular intervals. Large bowel is characterized by haustration, which are spaced irregularly. CT scan is more sensitive than simple X-rays. We can identify the level of obstruction, degree of obstruction, cause of obstruction such as volvulus, hernia, luminal and mural causes, degree of ischemia, free fluid and gas. Surgery is usually needed in majority of cases, but patient must be resuscitated before surgery. Resuscitation includes nasogastric aspiration, fluids and electrolyte replacement, catheterization, antibiotics, and correction of any other existing metabolic abnormality. The indications for early surgical intervention include obstructed or strangulated external hernia, internal intestinal strangulation, acute obstruction. Abdomen is opened through a midline incision and the whole gut is examined, and assessment is directed to site of obstruction, nature of obstruction, and viability of gut. Remember, cecum is a good marker for identification of site of obstruction. In case of small bowel obstruction, cecum is collapsed, and dilated cecum indicates large bowel obstruction. The surgeon locates the area of your bowel that is blocked and unblocks it. Any damaged parts of your bowel will be repaired or removed. This procedure is called bowel resection. If a section is removed, the healthy ends will be reconnected with stitches or staples.